because like I already said, Amar, now, there's beautiful people from all sides of the world.
So, let me ask you this one question. Does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians? Not just ethnically cleansing, genociding Palestinians.
Genocide.
Over their dead bodies. Does it have a right to exist over their dead body?
Genocide is never right.
Yeah, but does Israel have a right to exist?
If Israel did what they did without the October attacks, then I'd say they are fucked.
They've been doing this for over 50 years. Okay? So the 7th of October, your history starts the 7th of October. My history starts at the establishment of Israel, which is 1948. And they did ethnic cleansing. There's a UN resolution since 1948, the right of return. They haven't allowed Palestinians back home or back into Israel. They have deeds, paperwork, keys, and paperwork to their properties since 1948. And they've killed, they've done massacres of villages. Over 500 villages were ethnically cleansed, were destroyed, were damaged. Some of them left out of fear because they thought they were going to be allowed back. And that's what ended up happening. So majority of Palestinians are actually refugees.
So I'm going to give you, I feel you, bro. I'm going to give you my personal, a little bit of personal background on why after what happened in World War II is why I'm looking at from, and I'm not saying Jews all of a sudden have a right to mark their fucking reign of terror on the rest of the world. I don't agree with it. I really think there should be a possible way for Christians, Muslims, Buddhists to all be able to live peacefully and work together. There's so much deep history involved that it will probably never happen, unfortunately, but
it did happen prior to 48. They were living together side by side.
What year?
Prior to 1948, prior to establishing a Jewish state, 1948, they were living side by side, Jews, Christians, and Muslims inside Palestine.
Right after World War II.
Yeah. Coming in large numbers, thanks to British, and then the Arab revolted in 1930s, around 1936 to 1939, and British. There was a lot of people that died. They revolted against the British. British decided, no more Jewish state. It's going to be one independent state, according to the White Papers of Issue 1939, and one independent state. Where everybody will live under one state, and no more, Jewish migration, no more Jews buying land, and that was the red line. And they said in the next 10 years, it's going to be one independent state, the Palestinian state, where everybody will coexist. But what ended up happening, the Jews, the Zionist Jews,
we should nuke Iran. We should nuke Iran, that regime, and just kill them all.
Okay, thank you. Can you shut up, please?
Bitch, no, you're underprivileged ass.
Can you shut the fuck up? Can you shut the fuck up?
No, bitch, that's your...
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
I'm not, I can't...
Shut it up, fucking cunt.
So we're going to be saying we're going to nuke innocent.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I know
even though I'm not saying I'm against, I know where I'm at.
Yeah, so what I was saying was...
never say nuke Persian people. They are wonderful humans. Historically.
All human beings are wonderful human beings. You see what I'm saying? It's certain things that, some people have been indoctrinated with. It just turns them into demonic pieces of shit. So after the white papers were issued, you should look into it. 1939, it was supposed to be one independent state. You had the Zionist Jews that started doing terrorist attacks on that land. The first attack was on the ship, which was in 1940. Was done by having a Jewish militia gang. The British wanted to send them back to where they came from. It was about 1,600 Jews. And the bomb went off, the ship sank, it killed over 250 Jews and injured over 4 Jews.
What do you think about the Crown Prince saying that the Ayatollah Khamenei was like the Hitler of the Middle East? Because personally, I will admit this, my background is Polish. I don't know why I'm almost dating my thing, but my background is Polish. So I'm born in Australia. On my dad's side, they're full Australian. On my grandparents, my grandma's side, she's from Poland. So when Germany invaded Poland and put the Polish through the same slavery concentration camps that the Jews got put under, somehow it's a miracle story, but my grandma's my great grandparents escaped that and found refuge in Australia. So
everyone knows about the atrocities of the Hitler and the regime. Our question is, why did you believe whatever you hear in the media or from this person, that person? What the situation of today, it has anything to do with what happened in Europe?
So I'm talking to Amira, and
so you are trying to understand what's propaganda, what is reality.
I don't
These
go
are
for
two
nothing,
different things.
I don't go for the first thing I read. I talk to people. I talk to people like Amir, and I get educated on every sort of stance when I can. I'm not saying that.
That's fine. I mean, so what I've told you so far, what do you think about that? I mean, after 1940, they were living side by side, right? So, do you think Israel has a right to exist by genociding Palestinians? You know.
By killing them?
Yeah, by genociding them over their dead bodies, by ethnically cleansing them, doing a whole bunch of atrocities, like starving them, doing a whole bunch of atrocities.
If you tell them,
oh my God, bro.
not right.
Stop. So the simple question was, I'm going to go back to the same question again. Does Israel have a right to exist by killing Palestinians, by ethnically cleansing, by starving them, by doing a whole bunch of atrocities? And 7th of October wasn't the day when it started. Even if you look into just 1 year, 2022 to 2023, prior to 7th of October, deadliest year for the Palestinians. They killed over 500 people. Amongst them was about over 50 children. You know what I'm saying? And they lock up Palestinians. They put them in these Israeli dungeons without due process. So does Israel have a right to exist? I'm talking about entity, not people. People can coexist. Israel as an entity has a right to exist by ethnically cleansing.
I don't agree with genocide whatsoever.
I understand.
To answer your question simply,
Very simple question, man.
I don't know enough to know whether it's right or wrong.
The example that I just gave you, that Israel have a right to exist by killing, ethnically cleansing them, doing, starving them, a bunch of atrocities against them prior to 7th of October, not 7th of October. 7th of October, sure, what happened was wrong. I'm talking about the shit that happened since 1947, 48. Israel have a right to exist. There was no war. The war happened in 48 because these force they call Israel after ethnically cleansing them by kicking them out, by raping them, a bunch of atrocities. Over 500 villages were, they destroyed. Fight to get their properties back because it was taken, it was stolen, right, by force, by who? By these Zionist Jews.
Yeah, I don't agree with Zionism at all. But
I understand. The question question I asked you is just a yes or no. Does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing, killing them, starving them, doing a whole bunch of atrocities? Does it have a right to exist? It's just a yes or no question, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody in their right mind, whether Christian, Muslim, or Jew, whatever, they will be like, no, it doesn't.
No,
Logically speaking,
yeah, you're right. But in the same way, I can say, does Hamas have a right to exist, raping and doing the same thing?
I'll say who funded Hamas. I can make the argument. We can go back and forth. I'll provide sources. I'll source up every 2 seconds. Who funded Hamas? 1.4
And they're not doing the same thing. You said they're doing the same thing. They're not at all doing the same thing.
Yes or no?
The genocide? No.
Does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing, killing them, genociding them, starving them? Does it have a right to exist?
If you include the latter things, ethnically cleansing, starving, no. That's
It doesn't. That's a logical answer. Why did you take it forever to say no?
because it's not just that Israel do that. There's people all over the Middle East that do.
I'm not talking about all over the Middle East. I'm talking about what? I'm talking about Israel. Okay, I wasn't talking about all over the. Look, what you're trying to do is whataboutism to give you some sort of a justification. Yeah, if the other countries do it, Israel do it. So what? I don't want that type of justification. I'll go one country at a time. I don't give two shits. I don't even condemn Muslim countries. There's a lot of human rights violation related to the Muslim countries, the dictatorship system that they have.
Thank you.
If you go and fuck some people up to the level they feel they've been getting cleansed and being enslaved, wouldn't that they revolt at some point? Isn't that normal human history and behavior? Why are you so amazed about what Hamas did? That's just completely normal. Every time happens.
It was nice talking to you guys. I'll get invited to another room, but thank you for educating me on the matter. I'll see you later.
All right.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Just don't go around cleansing people to take over the land because they will revolt. Iranian revolt because America was meddling too much in our country. Of course we will revolt and go crazy on their ass. What do they expect? That they can go around and just fuck up everyone and enslave?
You need to listen and track the conversation, man. SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
Make sure you track the conversation. The conversation was about Israel and Palestine. We weren't talking about Iran right now.
I mean, but everything is so connected that, sorry, I got...
It's connected, but right now we were talking about, does Israel have a right to exist about Palestinians, not about Iran. We have to keep it separate. Iranian issue is separate. Hold on, Iran issue is separate. Palestinian issue is separate.
Of course.
Because Iran is a sovereign nation. Palestine is not. And Palestine has been occupied by this demonic piece of shit terrorist entity called Israel.
Yeah. So Palestinian people have the right to revolt. If they revolt,
they do. According to international law, yes, they do. But we were talking about Palestine, Israel. We weren't talking about Iran right now.
Palestinian people have the right to revolt based on both common sense and human rights, whatever that exists. They have the right to revolt. So they
right to resist.
Destroy terrorism. They cannot call this right terrorism. They simply can't.
All right, I got you. Anyways, anybody else want to come up? You guys are welcome. Come on up. This is the problem. Let's see.
Hey man, I just come to say hi.
Hey, what's up, Saudi? How you doing there?
I'm at the
You wanna
end.
come up?
I'm just following.
Oh, okay, cool. No problem. Yeah, we were just talking about the age. I was talking to Adrian earlier.
I've got a theory we didn't run past Tiger yet. Oh, sorry, cut you.
I just said, I mean, I was following the conversation. It was very interesting. He was a very moderate guy and very willing to like keep working with the new knowledge, not just standing 100% strong on his foot and don't want to be flexible. If you had more people like Adrian, the world was a better place.
I agree. He was being very reasonable. Yeah. Yeah, he was. Sorry, I had a question for Tiger, which is, I was listening to Professor Zhang again, who's becoming very popular. Not everyone agrees with his theories, but he had a very interesting theory, which is, he was asked, what does he expect the outcome to be of this war? What does Israel want out of it? And he thinks Israel is happy for both the Americans and the Iranians to lose, because Israel is seeking to become more autonomous in the region. The one data point that does concur with this is that Israel has stated a few times recently it wants to become militarily independent and get out from dependence on American arms and so on. And we know that it wants to become effectively a regional superpower, and knows the American public is losing its love affair with Israel. It's rapidly waning sport, and especially amongst the Iraq, I should say. Probably knows its days are numbered as far as it completely count on in America for everything. So this would be a smart strategy for it. However, he's suggesting they would go as far as to want America to either lose or get a seriously bloody nose and basically want to just leave the Middle East forever and never have to fight a war again. Meanwhile, Iran gets completely wrecked in the process and Israel benefits from both losses. What do you think about his theory? Kind of interesting. I don't fully buy it, but it's definitely an interesting theory.
But this is definitely what Israelis want and they're after, but that doesn't mean they will be successful in it. Because on the other hand, the US nationalists also know that they need Israel, but also know that these motherfuckers are fucking with them and want to, at some point, get their power for themselves. So they know. So they're dancing, you know, they're playing a game that
he was just suggesting that is their desired outcome.
Yes, that is their desired outcome, but I don't believe they will be fully successful in it.
Yeah.
Although they have really good hand upon the ass of American government, honestly. But I don't believe they're that good. I don't believe that's that good.
My question was aimed at Tiger because he wasn't in the room when we were talking about it earlier, and I've been meaning to ask Tiger if he has any thoughts on this theory.
Yeah, sure, Rolf. First of all, let me just state my position on, Jiang Xueqing as a person. I think some of his ideas are interesting, but I don't believe he's a very serious analyst of any sort, right? He's, and I think that's also the consensus in China, because, his claim to fame was that he correctly predicted that Donald Trump will be president, that he will attack Iran, and then he will fail to win over Iran, right? I can't say that I have predicted all of them.
Well, I predicted the first two, and a lot of people did. It's not very unusual.
So where I got it wrong was actually I didn't think Donald Trump will be stupid enough to attack Iran, but clearly I overestimate its intelligence.
The only reason I knew was Trump kept telling us over and over again. Nobody
The reason it's famous, the reason it's famous is not just the prediction. The way he explained it made him.
But
A lot of us know
from my
a lot of
I
us
think
knew
he's
that it
more
happened.
like his theory is more conspiracy than actual analysis, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So I don't.
We call it we call it a storytelling and a some sort of archetypal explanation.
Exactly. It's a good story.
It's archetypal. It's metaphorical. It is metaphorical, but
It's not an analysis. That's my
it just mentioning. It's just showing with his finger something is happening there, and he does it metaphorically. I get it.
But the thing is this, right? I don't think there are a shortage of people that would correctly predict that America would suffer from this war. They would struggle to win it, outright. There's no shortage of people who understand this is a massive miscalculation on Donald's part. And I would go as far as to speculate that he's being fed bad information from both Netanyahu and also the Reza Pahlavi's, of course, crowds in countries like the United States. So, with that said, right, in terms of Israel becoming an independent power, the thing is, I predicted, back, I was having a back and forth with Norm, or El Warm, I like to call him. Norm is a stupid person, of course. But the back and forth with him and a bunch of pretty diehard, Jewish Zionist supremacists was that, this is again stepping back from my Chinese lenses. For Israel as a nation to survive, right? You cannot bet on that it's going to maintain a generational gap in terms of this military power. Because we know that U.S. is struggling to maintain that lead over China. Not only China, but I also know that mathematically, right, it's much easier that could penetrate the air defense network than to come up with a weapon that needs to intercept such weapon, right? The difficulty of interception is an order of magnitude higher than the difficulty of penetration. So with that said, what we know is that if Israel bets on its survival and assume it's gonna always enjoy a material supremacy in terms of military equipment, that plan is bound to fail. So the only viable strategy for Israel to survive as a nation state is actually to reconcile with everybody in the region before the technical edge of America fades away, which is happening very rapidly. In fact, I think this war against Iran and why the Israelis are suffering so much, the progression of Iranian missile technology has outpaced anything America has in terms of interception, right? And the effectiveness of delivery of ordinances from air, relying on many hours of flight to have a presence over Tehran for, I think, less than 30 minutes at a time for every round trip. That's just numerically not sufficient for them to be able to wage a war effectively compared to the Iranian missiles. And that the information gathering capability of having both satellites and long loitering drones over Iranian airspace. Satellite is one thing. Satellite doesn't have the kind of precision that's required in the real timeness. And the long loitering UAVs are easy to target and its capability to target UAVs in the air. So again, this is a shortfall of Israeli and American war technology, because again, it's just a bad strategy. Adding to that, in terms of Israel becoming a solitary independent superpower in the region, for me that's off the table from the start, because I, as a Chinese person, understand this thing called strategic depth. So the endowment of a country, there's a big part of that is its territorial reach and natural resources. Israel is suffering from that it doesn't have enough area as in Iran, because for Iran to target fire on Israel is much easier because it needs to focus on a few cities, versus when what's going to happen is that as long as Iran is able to take out the desalination plants that Israel have, it will pose an existential threat to the viability of Israel as a nation, which Iran is fully capable, as they have demonstrated now, to do so. With those reasons, I don't see any possibility of Israel surviving as a nation state without the military support of the United States. And I think both Israel and the United States know that. I think the reason that Netanyahu says that Israel wants to be an independent state in the region gradually is a rhetoric political posturing, because he, as you pointed out, understands that the support within the United States in somewhat of a time of a crisis, right, economically speaking, to have continuous funding as military aid So again, to double down on making offensive in attempt to wreck Iran, and in hope that it will make their chances of survival greater, is one of the most stupid thing that any nation state would come up with. This is why I said, with all the propaganda that the Jews are so smart, they're making really stupid decisions.
Brother Tiger, would you agree that there's a difference between because I agree with everything you just said. Would you also agree though that there's a difference between the strategy in terms of warfare of trying to reach your goal through annihilation versus reaching your goal where you still want the people to also
has to be one that they coexist, and they have to accept to coexist with their neighbors and live in peace. That's the only viable option for Israel.
And I agree with you on that. That is the only viable option. And I personally believe that they I don't know if it's overestimated or underestimated, but they played their hand incorrectly. I think that in order for them to go forward, they didn't play their hand right, but they have to, if they want to create a better situation, if there is such a thing, it would be them having to understand that unless they're going for total or full spectrum war, enemy, or you want to disable your enemy. It seems like they wanted to disable their enemy, but they didn't know how to actually do it, if that makes sense, Tyler.
Does make sense, and therefore they shouldn't have tried, right? Why would you want to disable a country of 90 million with a relatively complete industrial supply and ample resources and great strategic depth and strategic importance, globally speaking, without even knowing how to do that, and probably just hoping for a color revolution happening just because it wasn't sanctioned that the people protested.
You just said a key word, hoping. So, are you aware of the fact that Iran is saying in the Chinese yuan? Like them saying that, like for anybody who's hearing what I'm saying right now, please go on the.
Over a statement, I'm Iranian. I never heard such a thing. I heard that they are letting Chinese and Spanish ships.
Check this out. Please do not take my word for it. Just check this out. They came and said that if you want to do commerce through the Straits of Hormuz, as long as it's in the Chinese yuan, if you go and look on the foreign exchange, the Chinese yuan is now beginning to go up because they're saying that if you're doing a trade in anything other than the dollar, they specifically mentioned the Chinese yuan. They're willing to let you. Estimated or overestimated. I don't know the right terminology or the right words to use on that, but they're saying essentially that they're playing the long game. They're basically saying that unless you're dealing in something other than the dollar, they're going to try to sink your ships if you come through the Straits of Hormuz.
In China, wording that's used in the Chinese report is that Iran says they have considered allowing trades.
So they're not saying it as a fact. They're saying it as a consideration.
Yeah, it's not a policy. So
right.
They have said multiple versions of the same thing, but really, if you summarize it, is that they demonstrate they're capable of choosing who gets to pass through the region.
Right. You do recognize how that changes the entire landscape of the war. It changes everything.
Well, China is pushing some sort of internationalization of our currency for the past decade or so. Pushing is probably too strong of a word, but that has been our strategy. But the thing is, China also understands that it's a strategy that would take a long time to materialize, and it doesn't depend on any singular event.
When you say it takes a long time to materialize, can you give me an okay, so I look at currencies, right? And as of 5 a.m., today is Monday on the East Coast of the U.S. Today's Monday. As of 5 a.m. yesterday, when they first made that declaration, the Chinese yuan has started to go up in terms of value as of 5 a.m. yesterday.
Even before the conflict. Last year, the Chinese yuan was sitting at, 7.25 to $1. This year it has risen to 6.8. So it's
Did you look? Have you looked at it?
Trend for the past year.
Have you looked at it as of yesterday morning?
In fact, if you actually look at USD/CNY, I believe since the start of the Iranian conflict, our currency actually depreciated against the dollar.
No, it depreciated in the beginning, but I'm asking you, did you look at it as of 5 a.m. East Coast Standard Time in the U.S.?
No, I didn't check yesterday. I haven't checked like in the past.
When you get a chance.
You also have to understand that the exchange rate of USD/CNY, and first of all, there are two different exchange rates, right? There's offshore and there's onshore. And you have to know that the onshore exchange rate is not driven by the market, right?
I'm not talking about the onshore. I'm talking about the offshore.
Yeah, then there's the question of arbitrage, because the offshore rate is never that far apart from the onshore rate, which is actually set by PBOC, People's Bank of China.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think the exchange rate will immediately reflect, what you think could be happening, because, also we don't have that expectation. Even though Iranians, even let's say they make that state, like actual policy to allow yuan traded cargo ships. Oil situation will be, relieved in that sense. And third, even if countries do trade in yuan, there is still the foreign exchange market for them to eliminate any arbitration.
But Tiger, you're familiar with Wakey? You know what Wakey is, right?
So maybe you can give me a lesson.
Okay, so Wakey is. I'm sorry, what was that?
What does this even matter?
It has to do with the way that they're playing the national or the international economic game. Wakey is important because Wakey is important because this is how they're playing. This is how Iran is choosing to fight this war. And they realize that the Straits of Hormuz is how they're able to actually retaliate against the U.S. because they can attack the dollar by forcing countries to change what they're purchasing resources in. If they're okay. Whoever cuts that.
This is what Iran is doing. They're playing the international game in this.
Do not interrupt us.
The only reason why you're talking, the only reason, Chinese guy, calm down. I know you're here to get intel and do whatever you get paid to come on here. That's shut up. You guys don't need to shut up. I'm American, bro.
Shut up. Stop being fucking racist as fuck. Move me down. I don't really care. I don't like your words.
I didn't say anything racist.
Okay, thank you. You just called him a Chinese guy. Okay? That was fucking racist. Anyways, continue.
Thank you.
Have policies that force indirectly people to try to trade with BRICS situation or any other thing, then maybe something happens. So these are just ideas, not going to solidify anytime soon. The only thing currently we can do is just to try to show power so American get the fuck out, and then we'll see which ways would be possible to go, especially if the BRICS countries show some, I'm sorry for the use of it, but some balls and do like something, then you can start rolling the ball toward the united currency, or maybe you be able to have a system that each country has its own currency, but they exchange really easily together, or whatever system they want to be able to. Completely possible and achievable. Currently, we are a little far away, and I guess we are going to go through some crisis before be able to do what you're describing, which
the reason why I brought that up, brother, is because it's absolutely something that Iran is trying to do now. It's absolutely that. As of 5 a.m. yesterday, 5 a.m. East Coast Standard Time in the U.S. As of 5 a.m.
I know, but like you need to understand. I'm also day trading, so I understand some news have a temporary effect on the market. You need to stop, wait for a week or 2 weeks to see if it.
So I gotta let it mature. I gotta let it materialize and mature. Is what you're saying? Okay, no, fair enough. I just wanted to put that on the board so that people could understand what's happening. Because if they're able to pull that off, if Iran is able to pull that off, that's going to change the entire game. The world reserve currency has been.
It will definitely. There are a lot of things that if anybody be able to do it, it will be changeable. So if China solve the Taiwan situation, that would be changed again. Anything anybody does is going to beat these days.
Well, you see that China hasn't said anything in terms of the war that's happening. They didn't say anything. They've been quiet. But to hear Iran come out and say that if you want to come through the Straits of Hormuz and you want to do trade and commerce, as long as it's not in the U.S. dollar, then they'll let you come.
Or they can pass a law that if it's in the U.S. dollar, you need to pay us some commissions, like 20% commissions. If it's not in U.S. dollar, then it's free. Like give a discount to anybody that does without. So it is possible to do many things if they be able to hold it. And
if they can hold it. Right. If they can hold it.
It's a big if currently. Situation is not that good. The situation is okay. We give a middle finger to USA and they are stuck. They are going to come back with more power soon. So they're not.
I think the Iranians needs to really brace themselves because at least I'm seeing the trend is that there's going to be a ground war. So, and it's going to be a difficult war for sure.
Yeah, definitely. They're ready. And to respond to that racist guy that came up, as an Iranian, I'm ready to give any kind of intel I have to a Chinese friend and culturally connected country. So I don't. If you Chinese don't need to come indirectly collect information, I will give it to you. So to the guy that just came up, yeah, go fuck yourself.
I appreciate your honesty on helping me better understand that because I pay attention to the money market, and when I seen what was happening after Iran made that declaration, I realized that what they were doing is they were challenging the world reserve currency. And them using that as a weapon in this war has the potential to change the way that everything looks.
Yeah, to be honest, it can challenge US currency and petrodollar 47 years ago when the revolution happened, but we weren't able to do shit about it. We just said that we hate it. We just said it, and we like create our own banking system internally and did a bunch of other things. And we are kind of heavily invested in crypto as well to some extent, but not as much as we should. Because anything that bypass American US dollar system is good for land civilization economy, anything. Because these guys are sitting over there forcing their currency as a reserve currency and as a medium of exchange, and it gives them too much power. And they abuse this power over and over and over again, especially now that idiots are in power in US too much, and we just want for the world to have a second option. It's free economy, isn't it? It's supposed to be capitalist. Everybody has to have options. We want to have options, except US dollar.
Let me ask you, is Iran, are they wrong for saying that they wanted to be traded in a different currency? Are they wrong for that?
No, again, anybody should be able to ask in the world that they want something except a second option, third option, because even free economy is talking about the consumer to be able to choose. We want to have options to choose something except US dollar. Why they are not providing that? That's very simple. In their ideology, they're talking about free market and free of choice and whatnot. Give us the option. We want.
Don't even understand that that's why our standard of living is what it is. They don't even understand that. And so to hear Iran say what they said as of 5 a.m. yesterday, they're literally doubling down and basically saying you're either gonna kill us or you're gonna respect us. That's what it looks like to me. Because they're and when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, they're really willing to die on this hill. And my only question is if it's feasible. Is it feasible for them to get the world to change what is currency? And I'm curious for you, brother, like, do you think that they actually can do it?
For me, or
Because no, that was for the brother who was speaking before me. I'm just curious if he feels like they'll actually be able to do it, because people have had a lot of ideas, but this time actually came out and said it. And now that they came out and said it, they can't put Pandora back in the box. The box is open. They've said it. And they said that whoever's gonna come through the Straits of Hormuz, if it's for trade and commerce, But if it's with the U.S. dollar, they're not gonna let them go through. It would, and their initial submission was that it should be through the yuan. And what I'm asking is, do y'all think that they're actually going to be able to be successful in that submission?
Yeah, of course. They've been planning this for years with China and Russia. Like, I think if Iran is not going to be able to pull that off or like resist in that strait, China will also fall. And China doesn't want that, obviously. Like, it's not about Iran. Like, Iran is just a battlefield for China to take over at the moment, and I think everything is going on their. We're gonna change the currency. It's gonna like take years, definitely, but they cannot like.
How do I pronounce your name? Okay. When I first started working at the World Bank, I worked at the World Bank, the IFC, and all three of them make up what they call the World Bank Group. The internal documents have always talked about this moment that we're at right now. So for me, this is a culmination of almost 15 years of internal documents. I'm seeing this culmination happening right now, and that's why that's the reason why I'm asking: is it actually feasible that they will be able to pull this off? Because I goes for it. I don't believe that they're stupid. I don't believe that they would go for it if they didn't think that they could be successful. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they prefer to like start this a little bit later, because proxy war kind of failed. It didn't fail. Like the Iranian plan like went through because it took them like years to build up these missiles and all that, and their final plan was to do this. But apparently, like, I mean, not everything goes on your plan. If you like make everything up, there are like things that goes in different ways. And the way that they were negotiating about the uranium, so they were kind they wanted to like postpone it until they know that they're like ready to do this. Of course, there are like chances of like failing and all that, but failing to do this, it will bring China and Russia on the table, and like that will be like officially World War III, and I don't know how it will go from that point on, honestly. And the other thing is like, I don't know, like U.S. I don't know how they're gonna like take over the Strait of Hormuz or even the Hard Island. That if they occupy it, they have to like fight for it constantly. They cannot just occupy it and sit there and be like, oh, we got this. Put their foot on those lands and be at peace, not even for a single day. So, to my eyes, I think it's a death trap for the United States. They'll lose. I don't know how. Like, I don't know what would be their collateral or what our collateral would be like. after they put boots on the ground?
Hey, everybody, what's up? So Charlie, somebody.
What stuff?
The boots are not going to go on the ground. It could. I mean, they sent I think 3,000 to 5,000. What is it the Navy or the U.S. soldiers that have sent? But it's a suicide mission, and I think what Iran would do, it would capture all these people and use it as hostage. So just like U.S. lives and Israeli lives, it's valued at about 1,000 Palestinians for one Jewish life. That's how it works inside Palestine. One Jew gets released, one Zionist Jew, and in return they send out about the release of about 1,000 Palestinians. So I think that's what Iran will do probably, right? If they do get these soldiers were to go on ground, I think Iran will capture these soldiers and use it as a bargaining chip to get the sanctions removed and force America into doing, and would get Trump to shut the F up. Because that's the only way I see it. Because other than that,
Enrichment that they have the 60%, and with the supreme leader dead, so he had a fatwa on this, and like it was illegal for the government to develop a nuclear bomb. With him out of the picture, they can easily do it, and like there's surveillance because they're under bombardments. So if they want to do it, I think this is the right time for them, so they can develop it. I'm not saying that they should, but that's also another thing. Like they easily can.
There was other day. I was in a room, and this guy that he's in the U.S. Iranian, and he was following with his co-workers. I don't know what's the word for people that are studying the Earth. But they was talking about there have been signs of in Israel where they assume it's testing of the tactical nuclear weapons. So there are rumors of Israel getting ready to, in case of need, they use the tactical nuclear weapons, and that's just raised some concerns. And my belief is, if in any scenario Israel go to use even the slightest version of the nuclear warheads, it's going to give any legitimacy to Iran to use the same power.
They already gave it. Like Supreme Leader was the only reason that we were part of the NPT. With him gone out of the picture, it's so likely that we back out from the NPT, or just we do it like illegally, and then announce
being they've been attacked twice in less than 12 months during negotiations in a really reckless way. Everybody in the region is now going to be looking at getting nuclear weapons, because clearly Israel and the US right now are acting like rogue nations, just going in without even consulting with their own population, telling them what's going on, just willy-nilly bombing, abducting, killing. It's chaotic. And what guarantees even the Gulf countries are going to start to look at getting some type of a nuclear deterrent. This is really bad, guys. I think that this stupid invasion is going to completely change geopolitics for the next 100 years. Like, it's an end of an era. They have no other option but to do that. The crazy thing is, for all the rhetoric that we're listening about Iran being unreasonable, irrational, etc., like Trump is going around saying that these guys are, you know, animals and barbarians, and they chop off heads, blah, 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 blah. If you go back and look at the deal that Obama made with Iran, if you look at the JCPOA,
that was a good deal, by the way.
it's insane.
JCPOA.
Yeah, it's insane how much Iran was willing to give up their sovereignty to just to, you know, calm the fears for the rest of the world that we're not going for nukes. You know what I mean? And then during these negotiations, some of the things that were on the table, the concessions that they gave, went even beyond the original deal that Obama made. So Iran was operating in good faith. I think Israel and U.S. were like, yeah, we don't care if you have nukes or not. We're going for you anyway. This is a war that Israel has wanted.
It was only for Israel's benefit, so they backed out from the JCPOA.
What Israel wants is chaos across the region, right? They're looking at the Gulf states. They don't like how the Gulf states are, you know, getting economically developed. And, you know, the whole thing about it, I mean, it's the thing. The Middle East is forever changed. The Gulf region is forever changed. The oil markets are forever changed. American hegemony in the world is forever changed. In less than 1 year, Donald Trump has completely obliterated the last 100 years of work that the U.S. did post-World War II. In less than 1 year, he did that.
So real quick. Is it Mujtaba?
Yeah. Okay. Ironically, I got the same name as the new supreme leader, isn't that?
You do, but I want to make sure I'm big on respect and
listen. Just keep watching the news. You'll learn it fairly quickly. Don't worry. It'll be up there.
So I want to ask you a question. Are you familiar with the Culvers?
Look, I am, but not really. Like, I haven't studied it deeply, but I know what it is.
Okay, so a lot of what's happening right now is falling in line with what the over here in the U.S. there was a faction of people that understood that you remember Mahmoud Ahmadinejad? You remember him?
Yeah, he died too.
Right. Hold up, he died too?
Yeah.
Ahmadinejad died too?
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, it's confirmed. They got him. Yeah, they got him. He's dead.
Pronounce his name is Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, but no, he's not dead.
Yeah, but Ahmadinejad.
Hold on, the sister said she's not.
Be quiet, bro. Be quiet for a reason. For a second. Marzi, by the way, Ahmadinejad was actually an Epstein file. You heard about it? Do you support him?
No, I don't support him. He was the enemy of Iran. I don't know which of you guys are from Iran, but I think that the talk you're having here is totally unfair. To the people, and you don't
allow.
sides.
Anyway, we got sidetracked. He's not.
No. The point I was making is I wanted to understand if you understand the 12ers, then you would understand that.
No, man, none of this is.
Okay, calm down, Crisis, calm down.
We have apocalyptic movements in all religions, in Judaism and Islam, and also in Christianity. Like it's like right now Israel.
Are you Iranian, brother? If you don't mind asking.
No, I'm not. I'm from Pakistan. But anyway, we have apocalyptic movements in all religions, right? So, but I don't think like we should be focusing on that as, there's a lot of people who are driven by that, and they're making a lot of dumb decisions based on those things. The tragedy is like people who believe this kind of crap are in power. Like they're actually doing things to make those things happen, like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the bottom line is, this is the real world, man. Like America made the dumbest move they could make, and then there's a reason why no U.S. president attacked Iran in the last 47 years. The Strait of Hormuz is the key, and now on the other side in Yemen, I mean, if they block that, then it's really over. And guys, buckle up. This is going to be a really rough next 10 years.
Mustafa, can I ask him something first, sir? What's Pakistan's stance on this situation? Do they have a stand? Yeah.
I think they're divided.
It's really difficult to see what Pakistan will. Pakistan is a very interesting case because Pakistan has great relations with Iran, the United States, China, and Saudi Arabia. Like they recently signed like a mutual defense agreement with Saudi Arabia when, and this happened especially after, do you guys remember when Israel dropped those bombs on Qatar a few months ago?
Yes.
So after that, Pakistan signed like a mutual defense agreement with Saudi Arabia and stuff. And Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states were like in negotiations with the U.S. They saw that the U.S. didn't really have their back. They went ahead and
what is driving that conflict?
I don't think it's relevant to the Iran conversation.
I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not really relevant. There's back in Kitover there was an attack. TTP, there's a Taliban in Pakistan that killed about I think 5 or 6 Pakistani soldiers. And then from there on, it started and it's going back and forth. And then one of the TTP, so TTP is like a Taliban, Pakistani original Taliban, but they work together with the they're well connected to each other, and their vision is to topple the Pakistani government.
Yep.
But you guys know that the Pakistani government is pretty strong. I mean, especially the military is pretty strong. And Pakistan's been doing a bunch of airstrikes into Afghanistan that has ended up getting open for civilians.
Because Trump
I want to touch back because this room is about Iran. In Iran, I think at first they were saying that not going to allow any ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and all of a sudden, I think the minister from Iran came out and said anybody that's an ally to America,
like all the ships that are going from China were able to.
Sorry, Matt. Just one question. Quick question. If they can they like attack ships?
The United States does not want to mess with China right now. So the U.S. is exposed right now. They're in a very weak strategic position. There are no good options.
Right.
This whole thing about we're gonna go and like put 2,500 Marines on the coast. Do you know how long the coast of Iran along the Strait of Hormuz is, or like that around the Persian Gulf is?
Yeah,
What is
the coastline of California.
what is
Larger than the coastline of California, man.
You have to lower your volume, Christ. Every time you speak, lower the volume.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Lower the volume.
They're talking about if you go to Google Maps, right, and you take a look at the coastline of the Persian Gulf on Iran's side, right, that entire coastline all the way from Iraq down to UAE, that's the size of the Californian coast. That's how large it is. And not just that, but it literally has like half a mile of beach and then it's all mountains. What are they going to do? There's no way.
Yeah, it's like a castle. That's
There is no way to take control of that terrain. There's no way to project force out of the Gulf states to take control of Hormuz. Hormuz has and always has been and always will be in Iran's control, right? There's a reason, again, I keep saying this, why no American president wanted to go in and invade Iran, because they know they cannot stop them from blocking Hormuz. And that's it. They're like that. I mean,
Hang on, Christ. Hang on. I gotta get the mic. You can't keep coming some questions. We have other people who want to speak as well. Margie, do you want to say something? Yeah, Margie, do you want to say something? It's the chili pepper and the.
You call it. So basically, why you say that attack is unfair? Why Iran had a signing document with the other country that they are not going to go above 20% uranium, but behind the deal that made 400 kilogram of 60% of.
well, because the deal that Obama made with Iran, Trump came in and just said no more. So what did Iran do? Decided to enrich the uranium.
Yeah, they made more and they made more and more. And even after the 12 days of war with Israel, more than 40.
Yeah, but Margie, you're not getting the point. So Trump, after he did a bunker buster bomb during the 12-day war, which I covered it last time, he came out in public. He said, "Yeah, we got rid of all of their, uranium, whatever, all of their nuclear facilities."
No. There was always a debate.
Hold on, Margie, we have to take his statement at face value, right? He came out and he forced.
You cannot take anything.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Mr. Hold on. He forced Netanyahu. Hold on, bro. Can you hang on for a second? He forced Netanyahu into doing a ceasefire because Netanyahu wanted to do the attack. The fighter jets were literally in the air. They were gonna, throw some bombs at Iran. And he, so Trump called Netanyahu. Netanyahu asked the Air Force Base, whatever, the officers to bring the fighter jets back. Hold on. So,
come up here. I'll be waiting. You need to listen to me.
We're having a conversation with the back and forth. It's not a monologue, man.
You are not even Iranian. Let me talk about.
I don't have to be the fucking office to talk about the Holocaust.
Let her speak.
Hang on, it's not your space. Calm down.
Holocaust was on 8th and 9th of January when they killed more than 40,000 people on the street.
She's a Zionist.
Yeah, I know. So Holocaust was not a genocide.
One point at a time. You can't just jump off.
Hang on a second. Marzi, do you support Alavi? I have to mute everybody. Please don't come up the mic anymore.
Of course I do.
Okay. Hold on a second. Marzi, is it going to happen with you, Marzi? My question to you is, do you think, Hold on a second. Hold on. How many times has America infiltrated inside of Iran? Like multiple times, right? It got into the West. The British has gotten into it multiple times. You had the Salak, you had Dr. Mossadegh, right? And then bringing in the leader from France as well with the U.S. Cooperation and the Air France, right? 1979, the revolution. Bro, you gotta stop stealing the neighbor's Wi-Fi, man. Oh my God. Someone.
Amir, please let the conversation of the room goes in that direction.
Hang on, Sally.
There's no time, please.
Sally, please.
We was on
Amir,
hold on a second. This room is about. Hold on a second. This room is about the debate as well, Sally. Okay. I like to debate the Iran
people.
Hold on. Oh my God. I don't do it for her. I do it for the people sitting in the audience so that they can learn how hypocritical these people are. With the hypocritical, that's what I used to do with the Zionist scumbags as well. Oh my God.
No, it's her point of view, and I don't agree with this point of view, but there are a lot of support that guy. She's talking about a genocide for 40,000 people. First of all, those numbers are not verified, right? Second of all, do you remember why that guy's father got deposed in the first place? I mean, you talk about genocide, you know, that guy was brutalized Iran as well. So, like, I would love to see.
Do you know he was a dictator?
Did you hear me or not?
Yeah, and he was genocidal too. So what do you think? Like, this guy's gonna come in? What kind of support does he have? The only support this guy has are like people living in Glendale in LA, like, you know, people who've never been to Iran.
Going on the line of questioning. Hold on, Mushtaba. I was going on the line of questioning your position. That's what I do in this room. I question everybody's position. I don't know, bro. You came in here for the first time, and you're oh my God, bro. My question to you, Marzi, is in relate to is this Mustafa's room or my room? Marzi. Okay. You're gonna okay. Sit in the audience. Okay. If you're gonna disrespect me, say shut the fuck up, bitch. Fucking stupid. Anyways,
come on, man. Don't do that.
It's an interview. Now you see, literally,
continue with the geopolitics. I love it.
If you're gonna talk like that,
okay, get lost.
Yeah, I'm gonna go too. It's disrespectful. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Leave. That fucking bitch that cursed at me. Anyways.
Can we continue with the geopolitics, please?
Yes, we can continue with the geopolitics.
There's plenty more to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit to talk about.
So the United States has been rejected now by the world. They've asked for support from Europe. That Europe have said no. China has said no. Even Japan has said no. Now, this is interesting. It's almost like it's turning out to be USA versus the world. And it's very clear USA are already losing.
Let's go over the news right now. Let's see what's in the news right now. I hope something see more people die.
Can I have a question for Tyler?
Hang on a second. So Israel says thousands of targets left in war in Iran. We got more than 1,200 people have been killed by the U.S. and Israeli strikes, according to Iranian ministry figures. Let me put the link in the chat if you guys want to read up on this. I'll just put the link in the chat. So we got 1,200 people that were killed by the U.S. and Israeli strikes. And a lot of the Razapalavi scumbags, they freaking justify the killing of innocent children that were killed thanks to Tomahawk missile that was done by the U.S. What else do we have? Wall Street. What did you say?
The news has gone pretty stale. It's almost like countries, governments are not releasing much information now to media outlets. It's become very quiet. The news front.
Yeah.
This is concerning, if anything. We're in a place of moldy news. It's going on.
Yeah, and so EU to discuss bolstering Middle East naval mission amid Iran war. Looks like the EU's mission was established in 2024 to protect ships from attacks by Yemeni Houthis rebel group in the Red Sea. This is a new one. European Union foreign ministers will discuss on Monday bolstering a small naval mission in the Middle East, but are not expected to decide on extending its rule to the choke-off Strait of Hormuz. Diplomats and officials say the EU mission was established. With the Strait of Hormuz largely shut off since the United States and Israel began attacking Iran on 28 February, some European officials have pondered whether the EU mission could be part of an effort to restore freedom of navigation in the Gulf. Iran's ability to choke off traffic through this strait, the conduit for a fifth of global oil and liquefied natural gas, has emerged as a major threat to the global economy. Yeah, I mean, Strait of Hormuz, it plays a pretty big role in,
So
yeah, 20%.
And not just that, but like petrochemicals, fertilizer.
Oh wow, you came back. Oh wow.
Hey man,
Mustafa is
if it's the only group on this topic.
Might have to start soon. Congratulations.
Yeah. If the woman curses me, it's okay. But if I curse her back, it's a problem for you, right?
I didn't hear her curse, but
she literally cursed at me.
You should. Yeah. Anyway, it's fine, man. It's fine.
Yeah, but if she curses at me, I have the right to curse her back, respectfully. Okay? That's how it works. I believe in tit for tat.
You have the right, but you don't have to exercise that right.
No, I will definitely exercise it. According to the U.S., I'm gonna exercise my freedom of speech.
Go for it.
Yeah. Thank you. And stop getting butthurt. In a lot of rooms, it's a different way of running these rooms. Every room is different.
Brother, I'm not mad at you. It's all good.
I understand, but I'm just saying, stop getting butthurt. Stop being sensitive, like a negative Nancy. What did you? I want to cover the news, brother. What's your question?
I have just a question for time.
Okay, go on quickly. Go and ask a question.
Okay, I hope he's here. I just want to know, and whatever outcome of this war comes, how is this affect the China plan for Taiwan?
Well, our plan was always the same plan, which is that we're gonna, pursue unification with Taiwan. It's just a matter of timing, and it looks like the window is opening up, and I would say about right now is probably one of the best moments for us to do it.
I agree. Yeah.
And what is your stand on this?
Listen, if you talk to was supported.
By the way, the rules of the game have changed. The United States has been behaving just in this year in a manner where why should any other country respect international law either? So, like, if China wants to go take Taiwan, hey man, go for it, because it seems like everybody else is doing it,
Prepare for stuff because unification with Taiwan does not break any international law.
Not only that, U.S. has set up a precedent. I mean, U.S. has done this before as well. How they went into Venezuela like a Uber Eats delivery driver, picked up the leader and the wife, and they brought her back to the U.S.
Yeah.
So now any country can just go into any country.
Exactly.
As a Uber Eats, pick the leader up and bring them back to their country.
Exactly.
It's but U.S. has done this before as well, but this was different. And plus, due to social media and whatever, a lot of people are up to date. They can see this leader is going to get. I think they're going to go up to Cuba next.
It's so insane. I can't believe we're in this position right now.
If you can't get out of the United States, I mean, it's just, you seem like
they gotta look after their parents.
Everybody needs to start to learn Chinese, honestly.
Yeah, we gotta move to China, but we're gonna get tracked, right, Tiger?
What's the break getting tracked?
If we get tracked in the U.S. too,
we can't use Google.com over there. We gotta use the Chinese version of Google. They do.
I've been practicing musical instruments.
I got like one of my best
in the
friends
concentration camps. I've been practicing musical instruments because I live in the West, and I think when we're in concentration camps, knowing a few melodies on an instrument.
Concentration camps.
Yeah, well, they could keep the
It's actually quite interesting you bring this up. As in, I've been thinking about it. Should I side with the oppressors just to get a leg up? Some people kind of start collaborating with the oppressors.
No, you should never do that.
I posted something in the chat. Indian FM, the foreign minister of India, hails talks with Iran to open Strait of Hormuz. Two Indian flagged liquefied petroleum gas carriers, Shivalik and Nanda Devi, carrying out 92,712 metric tons of LPG across Strait of Hormuz. But there was some news. This was about, I think, 5 days ago. So Iran is not allowing anything to. Was doing it. U.S. was bombing the shit out of Strait of, anything to do with Iran. Like, let's say if Iran is trying to get a ship to the Strait of Hormuz, they were just bombing it from up above. We have an asswipe in the audience. You want to come up, Vasco?
Pascal is very emotional.
Come up, stop being a sensitive, Razapality cunt. Come up. We can have that conversation,
Yeah, have you guys noticed how everyone is just going to Iran to make these deals on a bilateral?
Yeah, they're going directly.
What does that say? It says the U.S. has no cards to hold.
There's a fracture, isn't there?
No one is going to the U.S. ask for security on the strait. They're all going and negotiating directly with Iran while they're being carpet bombed. That should tell you something. Geography, man, it's in their favor. There is no way.
I think the world has realized. I think it might take a few more years for other countries to realize. They've realized that the Americans will no longer protect them. Protect Israel.
You know what I mean? So it's like the U.S. presence in your geography used to be quote unquote security insurance. Now it's a liability.
Yeah.
I expect all the U.S. bases to be gone from the Gulf after the whole escapade. It's over. The U.S. presence in the Middle East be done after this. Iran is power in the region.
I agree, but I think they knew that already. This is the end of that theater.
Yeah.
And I think this is where
this is the empire.
It's the end of the Middle Eastern theater. And but
I don't know. There's some.
Amir, I got a question for you.
After all these years of Satan Yahoo,
Amir, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you heard that one before, Amir? Satan Yahoo?
Nobody knows about it because look, you got to keep this in mind. I covered the 12-day war last time. During the 12-day war, there was some news in relate to the border area where there was an earthquake at I think 3.5 or something, and people were saying that there was a nuclear test or some sort of.
No. Look, here's why I disagree with this. It's very clear. So the whole point of having nuclear capability is to announce it to the world. Because that's what deterrence is. As soon as you have it, you make sure you let everybody know I got it. So if Iran had it, they would make it very clear.
Yeah, but you have to keep this in mind. You had the leader of Iran pass the fatwa. Sally, there's a background noise, brother.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So he passed the fatwa, weaponry allowed or whatever, passed the fatwa, which is haram. Now, at the same time, we don't know what they have down there. And a lot of people were under this. I know Trump lied, okay? But Netanyahu bought it and did the ceasefire. Otherwise, that last 12-day war, it would have went on for like a month or so, You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to, keep bombing, even though he couldn't handle the smoke. There was over $8 to $10 billion worth of damages that happened in Israel. Like even Rabbi Shmuley dildo shop got attacked. You had a whole bunch of flaming homosexuals in Tel Aviv running into a bunker. How they're going to do, orgy inside a bunker? You had a whole bunch of freaking attacks.
Many people were disappointed at me. Many people were
disappointed.
But does Israel nuke Iran?
So I'll give you an example of the previous attack. Did the first attack on Israel. Now, Israel got ready to nuke Egypt and Syria. Okay, that almost got ready. And if the U.S. would not have sent out weapons to Israel, they would have nuked Syria and Egypt. All right, this was during 1973 Yom Kippur War, and because America sent out weaponry in 1970, you have King Faisal from Saudi Arabia. He put sanctions on the oil that was going to the U.S. and whatnot, and to hit the global market. I don't know who if it's the CIA or Mossad approached his nephew in the UK, somehow convinced him. He went back to Saudi Arabia and killed his uncle. You see what I'm saying?
Amir, allegedly, the reason why the U.S. did what it did this time around were going to use nukes.
Yeah, so Mustafa, to answer your question, they haven't come out in the open saying that we have the nukes. It's like a silent policy. Everybody knows they have it. But they're not allowing the IAEA, they're not allowing any of the entities to freaking inspect their nuclear facility.
Yeah, they also did the NPT.
Yeah, and Iran said that if you go through the regime change, we are going to bomb your facility in Dimona. There's a city inside Israel called Dimona, and it has a nuclear reactor. And back in 2004, people that lived around nuclear facility, they kind of forced all the people that lived around there to take the pill because they were exposed to some sort of nuclear bullshit. Is that what I'm saying?
Amir,
but do you think... Sorry, go ahead.
Amir, are you discounting the fact that the
homosexuals. They're running around inside Tel Aviv, right? They have the largest LGBTQ rally, and then you have one third. They're secular, you know.
It's about who's in power, right? He does have a point. So in America, for example, you got 70% of the people who don't want this war, but you got a bunch of crazies in power, and so we have a war. In 1973, the U.S. was a lot more mature and competent, right? And so was the Israeli government back then. Now we have radicalized. You know, we have 30 and 40 years of just increasing radicalization across the board, like this shift towards fascism across the board, all over the globe, right?
Fascism. It's not fascism. It's not fascism. I want to make that.
That's funny. The person whose name is fascist is telling you all the time. No, but you're right though, bro. It's not fascist. I'm only bringing up one point.
I got you.
If people are saying that if the people in Israel are looking at Netanyahu as being the one who could bring about the Moshiach, would it not behoove us to understand what they believe?
100%, I agree.
Because what they believe